10 years ago, if you recall, it was quite difficult for people to get into jobs. It's unlike what we see today.
So, hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is the breakout room where we interview entrepreneurs to find out how they've become successful, what motivated them, and what kept them ahead of their competition. So, today I have with me Mr. Chidi Okpara, and he's a chartered accountant both here and in Nigeria. He runs his own successful accounting practice, and I've come to meet him in his office where he's busy. He's in the middle of sorting out clients' records. So we are going to interrupt his flow today. So we're kind of happy that he's allowed us to come here. So can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, my name is Chidi Okpara. I am a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Accountants of Nigeria, and I'm a fellow ACC as well in the UK. I run my own practice. I'm glad she said it's successful. I bless God for that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it is. Yeah. So yeah, because obviously success is measured by so many different metrics. But how long have you been running your practice?
We've been in the practice. I've been in it for 10 years now.
Good.
I started in 2013.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So can I ask you what inspired you to actually start your practice? Because I know a lot of accountants work for industry, but you've actually decided to take that bold step of striking out on your own. What inspired you to do that?
Well, 10 years ago, if you recall, it was quite difficult for people to get into jobs. It's unlike what we see today. Those days we used to beg for job. But so I should think the inspiration would have come from God anyway, because I tried so many places. I did, work, and then it was all short period. And I said, well, one day I just decided, why not go for it? I know it's a difficult decision to make. Thank God I made it, and yeah, today here we are, 10 years after.
Oh, congratulations on actually running a successful business for 10 years because living in the UK it is not easy. But I think it helps as well that it's an accountant, so you can plan ahead, you understand the tax challenges that it might have and can plan for that. So what I was going to ask you is, well, how was it when you started? So obviously you set up your own business, you need clients. Because I know one thing that especially those from ethnic minorities suffer in this country is getting the right clients when you start. So how were you able to get your first clients?
Well, luckily, I was somebody in the social. I've got a very large social circle,
Yes.
and so when I moved, when I started my own business, I talked to a lot of people from. Obviously, I've got to start from the minority ethnic group that I belong to. Yes, and then we started. I mean, many of them has been helpful right from the beginning. And you know what business we are in. You don't have to do social media advertising and all those. So it's word of mouth, it's referral. From there, we're doing one good job to the other one, to the other one, and then we kept growing. And yeah, so basically, it was referral that made us grow to the level where we are today.
Okay. And that's another very important skill to have in business. You need to be able to network and keep your network close because, and Mr. Chidi has explained, they would help you. So, can you give us a couple of the challenges? So, apart from getting the clients, what were some of the challenges? Because I know, for instance, I don't know if you agree with me, but when you're starting to be an accountant, they don't actually tell you how to run a business or all the things, the policies, dealing with HMRC, companies. How were you able to navigate or teach yourself, understand those different
Well,
areas?
yeah, I wouldn't say I taught myself. I mean, I had industry experience,
Okay.
even though it was, well, I believe it was God's doing anyway, because yeah, I did a lot of jobs, short with different people, so that maybe
Okay.
increased my knowledge and
Okay.
experience in it. But the
Okay.
basic thing in dealing with you know this type of business, that you have to deal with authorities, or
Yes.
deal with authorities on behalf of your clients, is that confidence, is
Yes.
that ability to speak up and speak, and to people in the other divide people from the HMRC, whom everybody fears and everybody thinks they are the most intelligent and the most, feared authority. But I mean, we've got to speak to them and tell them not every one of them is as knowledgeable as even the layman. But so we have that confidence in speaking to them, and in most cases, when we are able to, or when we were able to rectify or resolve issues for our clients, that in its turn helped the business to grow, because everybody when they see brown envelopes, you know what it is, and they will get to you and you tell them, no, no, that brown envelope, there's no knife or gun in it, just open it and read. So well, that's what it is.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys where you're watching from, but the brand envelope is from the tax office, HMRC. And trust me, because I'm an accountant as well, and when the clients come with their brown envelope, it's like fear. And a lot of times, another thing with clients as well is that they tend to leave things, lingering. So by the time they come to you, it's like, yeah, all hell has broken loose because they haven't been opening those brown envelopes. And now sometimes it does result in investigation. Have you actually had to do an investigation for clients?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it can be, and that can be brutal. Anyway, moving on from that. So, what other challenges would you say you faced running the business?
Well, you know what it is.
Well, maybe from the
The
clients.
the the ethnic minority where we come from is the most difficult people to deal with, and that on its own spells, its own type of challenge, because these are people who will always tell you, I mean, as an accountant, you
Mm.
know all, and the other half will tell you they know more than you, and so these are the challenges. You've got to be assertive in what of the things you do with them, and you have to assert that experience, that authority as well, and be ahead of your game. I mean, obviously, when I was starting, I was much younger, and sometimes you have to deal with people who are much older, and you know, but by and large, I mean, it's not easy doing business with Nigerians and Africans in general, to be honest with you. But I mean, that the challenge, overcoming that challenge, is the ability of, you being able to show your experience and skills. Someone can, could be a medical doctor and come to your office, and you spell it to him that you are a medical doctor, you're whatever you are in your own field. This is my field. 1 plus 1 is 2, but the way you look at it is not the way the taxman looks at it. So when you are able to explain all these things to them, no matter how aggressive they think they will be and all those things, they will always come down. But ability of handling these challenges,
Okay.
is one of the things we faced in the early part of our business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you've been here 10 years, yeah, because that's I can just echo what you've said. You have to be confident. People will come and challenge you. You prepare accounts, and people will tell you, no, that's not the way it's supposed to be. Or they'll
Uh,
want to pay, or yeah, don't let's too technical, but yes, there's some technical aspects of tax where you tell them they need to pay tax on their dividends as well as the business income, and they're arguing with you because
somebody will come and tell you, this is how much I want to pay. How do you tell them, can you get more invoices?
oh,
And that becomes a big war.
yeah, yeah, you,
So, but I mean, as you educate them,
yeah.
as you tell them, and wherever you have to chip in a little bit
Mm.
of scar as well, because for you to deal with them as well, you have to chip in what the reality is, not really necessarily scaring them, but you have to just tell
Yeah,
them, if you don't do it this way, if HMRC comes to you, you're going
yeah,
to pay more. I
yeah.
mean, you're being realistic. You're not telling them, you're not doing that to scare them, but
You need
the
to know the
ability to tell
reality.
them the truth about whatever thing they want you to do. The risks involved as well have to be told.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, so thank you very much. Yeah, so that's looking at the part of the client. So how about business growth? So how has your business grown over the years? Have you now got staff, systems? What have you put in place to ensure that your
A lot.
business does? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. When I started, I was by myself. I initially tried to do it from home, and I did it for a few months from home actually, and then I decided to go out. I mean, eh, people tend to believe you when they see you're actually in real business, and then real business in this type is the one that you can always do outside. I'm not saying that people couldn't do it from home, but if you really want to grow this business, you have to have a face, you have to have an office where people can actually come to. I mean, people could have different models, but I mean that's a very good thing to do. And yeah, so that early stage we had to go out, have an office, and then growing, like I did mention in the early times, is referral. But for you to grow business, to be honest with you, people have different models and people have different ideas of how businesses could grow. But you are handling people's data, you're handling people information and all those. So they want to have a kind of reliance, that kind of knowing who you are, not everybody. So you have to come out certain times out of your shell. You have to be in the social circle for people to say, oh, that is that accountant, that is his accountant. And then they begin to interact with you, know that you have a physical face that they can actually put to whatever figures you're giving to them. So that's one of the things that have always made us grow. I mean, to be honest with you, I believe we've grown as fast as that because we belong to so many social
Networks.
circle. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that again, having a network is important. Being sociable, getting out there, people knowing you. And it was funny what you said about having to get an office because people feel a bit apprehensive about even use their personal documents if they know you're going to be in the house. But
And
if
the
they have
house, yeah.
an office, it's easier. Because I remember a client turning me down before I had an office, saying that they couldn't meet me at McDonald's
Yeah,
to drop
yeah,
their
yeah, and it's
documents
true.
off,
It's
which is
true.
you
Yeah,
know.
it's true. I mean, it happens every now and then. I mean, I had a client whom I said, can we have a meeting? And then she said, yeah, McDonald's in Milton Keynes. I said, well, the nature of business we do, I can't come to have a meeting with you the first time
Yeah,
at McDonald's, and
yeah,
this is not what you've portrayed that you do. I
yeah.
mean, unless there's anything behind it, and then you tell me, then I can deal with it over the phone.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
interesting.
So yeah.
So, yeah, thank you for that. So, I was going to ask you about the challenges because now, when you started 10 years ago, it's different. We've had a cost of living crisis, and also, I don't know how you're taking on this AI and all that. How do you think it would impact, or how do you think has it impacted your business? So, let's talk about the cost of living, Corona, and all that, because we know a lot of businesses have shut down. Has that affected your business in any
Not
way?
not only my business is affected. Every
Yeah,
every business I could imagine. Cost of living invariably turns back into cost to businesses
yeah,
because every now and then living wage and minimum wage has always increased, and then when it increases with its resulting with a resultant what's it called, the employer NI. Those are
no,
costs to businesses.
yeah.
So when all these things are going up, invariably small businesses do suffer a
So,
little
yeah.
bit. Yeah, but I mean it is what it is. Yeah.
So how about AI? Because I know technology. How do you think that? Because
Technology.
technology apparently is going to take over staff, take over those staff roles. So which means you can actually get a computer program that can do pretty much everything.
We are still waiting for that to happen, but
So yeah,
we're still waiting for that to happen. And well, whatever it is, it's just a migration from what we call traditional way of working
mhm,
to a modernized way of working. But then, um, whether AI or not, what has happened in the recent times is a lot of people have left traditional types of jobs into IT. So
yeah,
as much people are going off certain things, you've seen the growth in
yes,
employment in the IT sector or IT industry. So more or less, I don't think this AI thing is impacting. It's only impacting. I mean, people could always um, do YouTube and get to understand some of these things. I even gain very good knowledge of doing it. In our business at the moment, in my own business, I will start from. It hasn't impacted badly on it because I mean we are in early stages of the AI development anyway. There are more things to come in it. So at the moment, I'm not sure it's has started impacting on accountants and accounting firms, but that's not to say that we have to relax and wait for it to hit us
Yeah.
hard before we start, adapting to the new technologies and all those. Yeah, we've the other part is in the bookkeeping. In the bookkeeping world, we are able to have seen development in that one. It's not automatic because what we believe is AI can read everything and do it when they have to do it. But in the what we where we are now is still transferring data, which is just from your app to the accounting software, with maybe QuickBooks. You just take a snapshot of your this. It helps preserve those things, but in the industry we are this recently is it's difficult to keep those invoices. But with technology, yeah, people
Okay.
are people are getting grips with it, but still difficult
Yeah.
anyway.
So you still
Yeah,
need
there's
some
still a
people.
long way to go
Yeah.
in,
So they will still
in
need
the,
people like you to give them advice, and yeah,
obviously.
because finance is one area that people don't like doing, and that's why they kind of dump everything with the accountant. So I was going to ask you, are there any tips you can give people? Maybe anybody there might want to use an accountant, and are there any tips you can give them in terms of trying to keep their finances together? Maybe one or two things that would make your job easier.
Like I just said now, the invoicing part, people need to do proper, technical term bookkeeping, in your layman term, maybe record keeping or
Yes.
whatever. But it is important to get the maximum tax reliefs. We need to keep those things. We
Yeah.
need to keep invoices and track our expenses, track our all those things, because it's not easy for an accountant. I mean, accountants are not
Magicians.
magicians. We can't pluck figures from the tree. It's easy for people to insinuate or tell you or push you to doing that, but the other part is during the investigation. You see, every other thing will get reversed, and sometimes they come with penalties. So the best bet to do is keep those invoices, keep them. There are a lot of ways to keep them these days. They've made it easy. There's a lot of softwares. There's a
Zero.
lot of
Yeah.
Zeros made it.
Yeah.
QuickBooks has made it.
Yeah.
Or just what you need to do is just have that portal, snap that the receipt or the invoice, and then transfers it directly to your portal or to your account. So that makes it easy. It's not necessarily domiciled on your phone. Some people will be scared of data and all those things or storage. It goes straight into the cloud and it holds there. Previously, we will say, keeping those invoices, these printouts,
Paper.
sometimes after a few months
They
they wipe,
disappear.
they
Yeah.
disappear.
Yeah.
But this time around, it's not an excuse for HMRs when they come into an investigation, because they will say there are ways you could have stored this without it wiping,
Yeah.
which is very
True.
crystal clear. So the best thing is these apps, most of the times they come free. Just
Yeah.
take a picture of it, and then yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Thank you. Yeah.
off it goes to the cloud,
Yeah.
and it could be stored there.
Yeah.
So then you wouldn't have reasons to say I'm paying too much tax, I'm paying less tax, and all those things.
Yeah. Thank you very
Yeah.
much for that. So that means you need to be organized. So we're kind of coming to the end of that. So before we left, there are just a couple of questions I wanted to ask you. So if anybody was thinking of starting maybe a business, an account, what are some of the maybe three top skills they must have to be a successful entrepreneur?
To be a successful entrepreneur, the best skill is that personal one that you have and that personal resilience that you said. I
Resilience.
mean, don't be scared of failing.
Oh,
Don't be scared of what people are going to say. Don't be scared, and don't be too forward with I want to get 1 million pounds today. You see, every business, to be honest with you, before you break even, you have to be prepared before you break even into that business. People, come to us, oh, I want to start this business. Oh, that guy is right. Look at his house, look at his cars, look at all those. And I sit down to them and tell them, listen, in the first 1 year, these people suffered. You wouldn't have seen those suffering periods because you've seen them blossom in now. So you have to be prepared to put in a little bit of work and suffering in the early time. I have to put it the crystal way is suffering. You really have to make sacrifices. I mean, that is the most important skill to surviving in in business or entrepreneurship. You have to have that ability to say, I am going to continue irrespective of what the pressure, what the stress is in the beginning. To start is the biggest challenge in
It is
getting
in
out.
any engagement. I was going to ask as well. So you said about break even. So I wanted to ask you, how long did it take you to break even?
Well, mine, I wouldn't, because there was no big investment. The
Okay.
investment I've got is that classwork and
Laptops
that all
and
this is,
yeah,
and then there's no big investment.
yeah,
The break even for me, it could not be compared to break even for people who
capital
are,
invest
some businesses that are slightly more capital
intense,
intensive,
yeah.
like people who are in care business. They've got to
Mm.
go get the initial
Yeah,
funding
cash
to be
flow.
able to
Yeah,
pay their
staff.
employees and
Yeah,
all those things. It wasn't that way
okay.
for
For you.
for me, and then it wouldn't be the same type of pressure for all businesses.
Yeah,
But each individual business have got their early challenges.
okay.
So yeah, so the break even period differs, and it will always continue to differ from business to business.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So would you say this is a good time for someone out there who's an accountant and thinking of starting up their own practice? Is this a good time for them to start?
Yes, I will say yes. Not only accounting, of course, you have to have that academic,
Yeah, the qualifications are
qualifications
important.
and all those. And again, I'm not being racist or whatever, but from what has happened or what has been happening in the demography in the United Kingdom,
Mm.
it is important to understand that now, to be honest, is the best time to start. I mean,
Oh,
there's
that's good.
been a lot of, I mean, in a very short while, we might even be surprised to say we are not the minority anymore, because there's been a lot of people
Coming
who's
in.
been into UK from different ethnic groups,
Yeah.
and that is boost for business for anything. People who's gone in. I mean, I've got people who have come for us because we do business planning as well,
Yeah.
and financial projection for so many businesses. So people have come in and say they want to start restaurant, they want to start care, and all those businesses because of and African food stores, because there's been increase in the population of African people
Yeah.
in this country in recent times. The best thing to do um, at this time is to continue fighting to get your own business. I mean, there's always going to be that market. Once when I was in active studies, one of my lecturers said, there is no saturated market. Whatever you package, you will be able to sell. There is no market. There's no word as being a market being saturated. No way. So that is the fear that people will think, oh, we've got too many health care companies here. We've got this area. We've got too many black African shops. We've got too
Mm.
many restaurants. Packaging is the word. So
Differentiation.
if you
Yeah.
differentiate, if you
Yes.
package very well, you sell.
Yes.
Okay, there's no thing as saturated market.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And that's what we're trying to do here. So if you like what we've been doing so far, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you very much, Chidi, for giving us your time. We can see that you're very busy. Have you got any final words to say to our viewers? Any
Well,
words of inspiration?
yes,
Yeah.
we would like you to start your own business.
Yes.
We'll
And
gain from it. You gain from us as well. It is important. Never fear failure.
yeah.
Get there, get out there, try your best, and don't think there's a saturated market.
Yeah.
Go in there, have your own unique thing to present.
Yeah.
You will sell.
Yeah. And on that note, yeah, thank you very much. So I'll see you in the next video. Take care and thank you for watching.